What are you doing? Just because you're a judge doesn't mean you have to look like a fucking old maid, and she literally did.
Would you rather the judges wore wigs like they do in England?
Oh, just like she has it now. She was wearing her hair back the other day in an interview. She's like had it either pulled back or in a bun or something, and you could actually like see her face, and it's like, oh, she's actually a good-looking woman. She doesn't look
Judge
like a little
Judy?
old. Yeah, she don't look like. I mean, she don't look young, but she don't look like.
I feel like Judge Judy would be really aggressive in bed.
I'm sure she would.
What
She would just be telling you what to do. Like,
Yeah. She'd be judging you.
You're set.
She'd
Make
be
me
like,
come
"Yes,
now."
you're not making me come fast enough. You made me come too fast. I don't want, everything's a fucking prize. She's judging you. She's like, don't try to pull one on me. I'm 70, and I know. Guys, shout out to Buds and Bagels. We got a blunt roll. This is their iced latte flavor.
We're not done
So,
yet. We are almost
Jeremy's
there.
still
Hold on.
Are we
celebrating.
starting?
Just
We're
one
started,
second.
fuck
You
it.
didn't start. You didn't say,
We didn't.
and
One
we
second, 'cause I
are
do
back.
want to click this, so
Sometimes we just start it
do you
right
want
in.
to keep this on the table or move it?
Move it.
Then let's wait 1 second.
Yeah, I'll restart when Kerry sits back down.
All right. How will anyone know that we've begun?
Well, I mean, I'll edit it out. How will anyone know we've begun? Because we're just fucking talking. How do you know we started? Because I'm inside.
When do I start? When do I start listening?
When do you... Now? Why wouldn't you start listening?
I guess that's right.
Yeah, Kerry was telling a good story about Judge Judy's hair.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Kerry?
I'm just looking at.
Kerry got lost.
Carrie
Well,
doesn't
no, I
know
was
that
looking
we've
to see my
begun.
phone to make sure it doesn't go
See,
off.
it's like the call that lets her know that this show has
I
started.
got you, yeah. Kerry needs to know we started. Hi, Kerry.
Hello.
How you doing?
The show has begun.
Kerry was ready, so...
Well, I just wanted to be able to like get this
And
set
we
up.
are back in the Manimal Zone, close to parts unknown, and wherever you may roam, wherever I set up these microphones, we call home. And I just got that straight off the dome. And I'm here with my ever stellar co-host, Kerry. We're shooting out of your home.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good, actually. Today's been a good day so far, and hopefully it'll continue to be one.
We just had some really good
That's the
oatmeal
hope.
bars.
Yes.
So
We got to get this cooking show started one day.
I know, guys. Let us know. Do you want to see the grappling gourmets in full effect? Jeremy, I was thinking of just wearing aprons and that's it, and then we can shoot it from behind.
It's a choice.
It's true.
It's a choice. It is a choice.
I'm just trying to make choices, and then we'll figure out if they're the right choices afterwards.
I'm just trying to
Make choices. Just make some choices.
They may be a little brash. They may
and
be a
see-
little like.
Was that the right choice? Well, I don't
We'll
know.
find out later.
Let's find out later.
Yeah.
It's only questionable in hindsight.
It's like shoot first, ask questions later kind of thing,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah, you break into my house, let's see what happens.
Yeah, because if you do something really crazy and it works out,
Great.
like even I think about fighting, there was no reason for me to fight again after 10 years of not fighting. No one does that. Imagine a football player is just sitting on the couch and he's like, you know what? I haven't done shit for 10 years. I think I'm going to do it. Everyone's like, no, don't do it. You get hurt. Right? And then you do the crazy thing and it works out and you're like, I'm a fucking man. Right? And if you don't do it at all, nothing's going to happen. So at least I get a story out of it. So I try to do my best to do the damn things. Because at least you'll get a story. Oh, you know what I wanted to tell a story? When I cut weight for my fight at the Garden, it was the first time I had to like officially make 46 and like have a fight. So I'm trying to cut weight the night before. I'm cutting weight all damn day. I go do all the press stuff. On the day you cut weight, you do all the press shit. And I'm fucking cutting weight, and I'm getting close. I'm like 140.
What are you doing?
Oh, so the first thing I like to do to start to cut weight, so now we have to think about this. There's the difference between weight cutting and weight management. So let's say a guy walks around at 175 and he fights at 145. Then he has to lose 30 pounds. Depending how far out in camp he is, it's going to be a combination of weight cutting, which is water only, and weight management, which is fat and water. So you're probably pretty familiar with weight management from being a coach. So if you don't know, Jeremy is a fitness coach. He used to own a CrossFit gym. Me too. Kerry's also very fit. So we have a pretty expert crew on health and fitness. So you're used to weight management. you reduce someone's calories, you up their energy expenditure, and they lose weight. All right, now whether that weight is fat or muscle, that's going to depend on other variables, but they will lose weight. That's weight management. That's by doing a combination of losing fat, muscle, some water also will come out of that. Weight cutting is another art. So in weight cutting, what I'm trying to do is manipulate my body's water so that I will lose that water as quickly as possible, and at the same time, the hardest part about weight cutting isn't really cutting, it's actually getting the weight back on. So you want to dehydrate and stay in hell as short as possible. So when you go to hell, you want to get out of there as quick as possible. So you try to make that last part of the weight cut, which is water weight, which is usually about, I'd say it's about anywhere between 6 to 10% of your body weight, depending on the fighter. So you're looking at about 12 to 15 pounds for a guy like me. And that's going to happen within 2 days of the weigh. And that's a tough process. What you have to do then is water load. So me personally, I'll load up, make sure I'm very hydrated. And
How far out?
let's call it 4 days out. Some people like the water load, some people don't. Me personally, I've always had good benefits with it. Plus, I'm already hydrated anyway. So I'm always drinking a gallon of water a day, maybe more. 4 days out, I up it to 2 gallons. Then another 2 gallons. Then 1 gallon. Then the day of the weight cut, nothing. So your body is trying to maintain homeostasis. It wants you to stay at a certain weight. And if your body wants you to stay at this weight, well, it has to pee out all this water you're taking. So if I'm used to drinking 8 pounds of water, which is a gallon, my body knows how to float that 8 pounds. But once I drink 16 pounds of water, my body's like, yo, you got to get rid of all that water. We're used to dealing with 8 pounds. So that 8 pounds of pees out. And you start peeing like fucking crazy. And then once you cut the water out, your body is still on the day before thinking about cutting out those 2 gallons. So you usually pee out like 6 pounds. And then I'll put on the vinyl suit. So I'll put Albolene on. Albolene is a makeup remover, but what that does is it clogs your pores. And when you clog your pores, your body only has one recourse to remove toxins from your pores, and that's to sweat. And you sweat heavy. So you're in the vinyl suit, you duct tape the ends, hat, hoodies over the vinyl suit. And I'll do that for like 3 hours, a light workout. So I'll do like rowing, bike, some push-ups, shadow boxing, maybe do some drills, light. And over the course of those 3 hours, you'll probably lose like 5 to 7 pounds. And then the rest I'll do, some guys like baths, some guys like saunas. I don't like the sauna, and now I'm not liking the bath either after my last cut for combat jiu-jitsu, but it was also hot in Texas. And then I'll go rounds in the bath where you sweat out. So I get myself down to 149. And I'm at 149, and it's like midnight, and I go to sleep, and I wake up at 3 in the morning, I was like, let me just try to cut this weight. And I sit in the tub for like an hour, and I'm fucking sweating, dripping, and I step on the scale, 148.8. I was like, oh God. I was like, this fucking weight's not coming off now. So I call up my homeboy Manny, shout out African Samurai. He was going to take me to weigh-ins. I was like, yo, do me a favor, pick me up in your car, and I'm going to put the vinyls back on. And turn your heat up, and I'm going to, sweat it out on the ride to the city. It's going to take about an hour. It's an hour of weight cutting, so I sit in the car. I got the hoodie, the vinyls, hat, fucking dripping sweat now. And he got the heat on 100 degrees, and I'm fucking dripping sweat. And I look over at Manny, and Manny's just wearing a fucking tank top, short shorts, and a pair of flip-flops, and he's dripping sweat. And for some reason, when I saw that, it made me fucking tense and nervous. I was like, oh no. I was like, Manny's hot, and he's wearing a tank top. I was like, I'm really hot. And I'm fucking opening the window. He had a sip of coffee, and I take that sip of coffee, and I'm like, oh, it's gross. I was like, all right. Because now I'm not drinking no water. This is the no water day. And I'm mad cotton mouthy. So we pull into the parking lot where the weigh-ins are going to be. It's at the hotel across the street from Madison Square Garden. And as soon as he opens the door, I fucking fall onto the floor. And I'm laying in the parking lot. And the parking lot attendant's like, you can't sleep here. I was like, I just got to lay here. He's like, get the fuck out. He's like, you can't lay here. He's like, no homeless people in here. I was like, I'm not fucking homeless, dude. Stop it. So I crawl out, and then I lay on the floor outside. And it's like I'm just laying on the floor for like 20 minutes. Man, he just sits down. He's just watching me. This is normal for fighters. So, so I'm just laying on the floor looking at the sky. I'm like, oh, Father, what the fuck do you want me to do here? He's like, you got more weight to go. I was like, oh, fuck. So the birds are flying over me now. I finally, it starts to rain a little bit, and it wakes me up. I get up, and then I cut another 2 hours on the bike inside. I step on the scale, 146.2. It's 0.2 over.
Oh, no.
So now I'm like, fuck that sip of coffee I drank.
How far away from the actual weigh-in are you?
No, this is at the weigh-in.
At the weigh-in,
So at the weigh-in, I'm 0.2, and I'm in my underwear, and now I'm like, fuck that cup of coffee I drank. That sip, that's the 0.2. Probably not, who knows? And now I'm in front of Bellator Media, so the weigh-ins is public, right? So I'm on the scale, the press conference is there, right? Guys are snapping pictures, and I step on the scale, and it's 46.2, and I look at the scale, and I go to drop my drawers, right? I'm like, fuck, my instinct. And they're like, whoa, we gotta put the curtain up. Like, fucking just... I was like,
Sounds
bro,
like, fuck it, I got this.
Fuck it, I got this. My shriveled up dick and everything. Cutting weight, the thing they don't tell you, I mean, you lose hydration everywhere. It's not. I remember sometimes you just can't even fuck. You're like, and if you do, you can't come. You're like, I have no hydration.
I got nothing in me.
Yeah, if I blow a load, I have to get it back. I'm like, can you give that back to me? Because I can't need those calories.
Spit in my mouth.
Just please snowball me, yeah. So I go to drop my drawers, they cover me, and now we're all looking at the scale, and the dude's like 146 even. I was like, oh, thank God.
Nice.
I was like, oh, thank God. And then I rehydrated up really good, took my time. So the rehydrate process, you want to take like 4 hours of just water and electrolytes, no food. Then I'll have like a fruit, maybe a light carb, and then I'll have a massive dinner. I like to have a 2 or 3 pound prime rib, sweet potatoes, and I eat that over the course of 2.5 hours. I put myself on a clock, so I time it. So I eat for 1 minute, and then I rest for 2 to 3 minutes, depending on how I'm feeling. And then over the course of 2 to 3 hours, I just eat about, 13 to 15,000 calories. Then I'll take a little nap. Then I'll wake up and eat a little more. Then I'll sleep. Then I'll have a nice breakfast. And then I don't like to do much eating after that. But I weighed in at 146. I was 163 the day of the fight. So what is that, 17 pounds?
Mm.
So I put on 17 pounds in a day. Probably took off 15 pounds in a day. So think about how crazy this is. I fluctuated almost 40 pounds in weight in 2 days.
That's crazy.
But that's normal for fight.
Yes, and Aljo cuts more. Aljo was cutting to 35 and killing himself out there. To cut to 30, he was walking around at 175 and cutting to 135. I would like to see them not have weight cutting as much, but if one guy does it, you all have to do it.
Right.
It's like being a guy in there and being like, oh, I'm not going to do jiu-jitsu.
It's like Rogan always talks about it being a sanctioned cheating.
I don't know if it's sanctioned cheating, but it's a part of the rules that's like, if one guy does it really well and one guy doesn't, it gives you a massive advantage. That's what guys do.
Right.
Because like I was saying, that's what made me Max Holloway nervous about Max Holloway. What made me nervous about Holloway was he was like, I had the best weight cut ever, bro. I was like, oh no. Yeah. I was like, usually, I've seen more times than not.
It's not good.
The guy that struggled with his weight cut, just the right amount. I mean, you don't want to see the guy like have kidney failure, but right to that point. So if this is dying, I want him here. This is too much, I want him here. I don't want him here and be like, oh, it was so easy. It was nothing. It was like, oh no. What the fuck were you doing? You may have overtrained. How are you so light, right, for your weight class? You may have overtrained. Might be very dehydrated. It's a bad sign to me. When the guy has a good cut, is that weird?
No.
So I was like, oh no, because the best performances I had, I've had not the worst cuts, not like death cuts, but tough. I remember just being a struggle. And I had a fight at 155 where I literally cut nothing. And don't get me wrong, also that dude was like 182 at the fight. And I was like still 162, 163. That's like the weight I'm like a race car at.
What do you think would happen if they did same day weigh-ins?
The first time people are going to die. And then once they realize they can't cut, it'll give you a closer spread.
Or is there any other way around that?
There's several ways, I think. So, Kerry, I know one does hydration testing.
I was actually going to say is that something that they should look into? Like
I'm not.
changing the rules maybe?
Yeah, I'm not as up on the science of
Hydration.
testing and how that works. But I would rather fight personally
Yeah.
at 170, which I never could.
Yeah.
Think about it, if I fought at 170, I'd have to fight like Kamaru Usman.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they're massive, they're cutting a
yeah.
lot of weight. Like if I just want to go in at my like chill,
No, you need, but
natural
everybody
weight.
needs to be to that standard so that it's fair.
And I
for
would
everyone.
add some more weight classes. So
Oh,
what I would do
definitely.
is I would add 2 more weight classes and spread the weights out in a fairer distribution because they're unfairly distributed.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. You got a jump of 20 pounds here, even a jump of 10 pounds is
Yeah.
big. So think about, Kerry, you weigh what, 125?
Yeah.
Think about how much bigger you are from 115 to 125.
Oh, yeah.
10 pounds is a big difference.
Yeah.
And you fighting yourself with the same skill, 10 pounds heavier, you have a massive advantage with that
Yeah.
weight, right? So 10 pounds is a big jump at the low weights. So I would do every 7% a jump. So what that would look like is I start at 125, and the next weight class is 132, then 140. Then it actually gets easy.
Yeah.
150, 160, 170.
Yeah.
Then it becomes 183,
Mm-hmm.
200, 215 and up.
Yeah.
It spreads it out a little bit better. It adds 1 weight class or 2 in there, distributes the weight better. Because like 150 is a lot easier for a guy sometimes than 45.
Yeah.
So it'll spread it out a little better. And 140 might be better than 135. Like
Yeah.
Aljo could he compete well at like a 140 pound weight class?
Does that go based on the promotion? Like each promotion, or is that like a universal
It's
rule?
the-
It's
Rules.
universal. Well, Kerry, you want to explain that? Is there a universal rule set for that?
Yeah, there's the there's the universal MMA rules, and then there's the there's different I gotta look
so
up which states
Bellator
and
and
stuff have their own.
UFC have to have their
Same weight class.
same
Yeah.
weight classes.
Yep.
Local promotions, like if New York State Athletic Commission is like
Boxing has different weight classes.
boxing has too many.
Yeah,
So you don't want to run into the boxing problem
And
where
then
they have a
predominantly has all the
light
same.
middleweight,
Yeah.
super middleweight,
Yeah.
middleweight. So boxing has a weight class every 5 pounds, which that means you have 30 champions.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then girls, it's just too much.
Yeah.
Right? Dilutes the product. I even think the product's diluted now. There's too many events.
Oh, without a question. It's so oversaturated. It's insane. There's so many promotions. There's so many events. You know, it makes it where it's like, which one would you want to go to? Because, I mean, let's face it. It's, it's not. If you want to have a good ticket, it's not cheap. Who wants to sit in the fucking up in the middle of nowhere? And that's kind of gay. So you want to have a good ticket if you're not a press person, and you want to have a good time, and it makes it kind of hard. So I definitely think that having maybe less events, but they're not going to go backwards. So.
Can't go backwards because UFC needs to provide 42
Yeah,
pieces
they
of
cannot
content
go
for
backwards.
ESPN.
They're never gonna
So
go
what do they?
backwards.
They can't go backwards. And then you can't even follow PFL
No. That now they have a billion things going on.
because
They
now
have
they're PFL and Bellator.
so they have PFL, they have Bellator, they have they have the
Making me nervous there with those sisters. Holy shit.
they have the their like super fight series.
Yeah.
They have the championship, which I think is the Bellator versus PFL series.
Yeah.
They have what do they call it when it's there's a couple things, not just
They have like
not
a
just
weird
a tournament
one, right?
style.
It's like
Yeah.
Monster.
Yeah,
Energy.
something crazy.
So it's too much.
insane.
I can't follow all
it's
that.
a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, the only way Bellator could work is if I was the president.
Yeah.
So if they're looking for a president of Bellator,
Let's go.
hit me up. We'll be in there in 2 seconds. We'll throw that product around. We got a lot of young, hungry fighters looking to come up.
Yeah.
You'll get not just the best matchmaker in the business, but also the best announcer in one fell swoop. So, guys,
Sounds
give
like
me
I
a
want to
bag.
do it all.
Give me a bag and put me in charge of Bellator. Scott Coker, sorry, you're out.
Bye.
Jeremy, how's your training going for your competition?
Well, I guess it's going good. Whether or not I'm going to actually compete I haven't decided yet. But
Oh.
Oh, I thought you said you were competing.
Yeah.
Don't back out now.
well, I want to know that I'm going to be at 175
Okay.
for no gi.
Don't worry, bro. It's just jiu-jitsu. For jiu-jitsu, I thought about it. I'm like, cutting weight's stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I still want to lose the weight.
Unless I had to cut weight to make like a team. Like, let's say you're on like one of those team competitions and they're like, oh, we have a spot for
At this weight, yeah, kicking me.
then maybe, but otherwise it's just jiu-jitsu. I cut too
Yeah.
much for that combat jiu-jitsu one. I was so skinny.
It's crazy.
And Texas was hot. You remember when I was cutting for
Oh,
that, I
yeah.
was like,
But I want to walk around at 175. I think I want to make that weight
To
make
walk
that
around weight?
yeah, and be at, because I'm at like 185 now, and I'm down like 20 pounds. So I want to lose another 10.
ladies, Jeremy's still single.
Still single.
So, yeah, and you know he believes in marriage. So if you go out with Jeremy, if you're a girl that's looking to get married, you probably will.
He believes in weddings.
He loves weddings.
Yeah, marriage not so
Marriage.
much. Loves the wedding.
Marriage is a
He likes them.
Different story.
He likes getting married.
staying married
Staying
is the
married is a
problem.
whole different
seemingly.
ballgame.
Can't all be perfect, bro. What are you gonna do? It's
So
not
you need
easy.
a woman that doesn't want to get married. Maybe that's the way.
And then he's gonna
Something.
make him want to get married even more, though.
That's the truth, too, right?
If she's like, I don't want to get married.
It's like, well,
Trevor's
maybe
gonna
we
be like,
should.
maybe I
Now
can
we should.
convince
Now
her
we should talk about
otherwise.
this.
No.
Maybe I should convince her otherwise.
No, there'll be no more marriage conversations.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something.
No,
You were
I'm
just
trying
looking.
to. I've been thinking of like for a while. I'm like, who could we hook Jeremy up with?
I don't know. I'm no matchmaker.
I'm good. Actually, I am. I love making matches for my friends.
Matchmaker,
But, like-
matchmaker, make me a match.
Yeah.
Is that a real song?
Catch me
Yes.
a catch. Oh, yeah, it's
Yeah.
from Fiddler on the Roof.
I don't know.
Because she matches him up in Fiddler on the Roof with the butcher, Lisa Wolf. But she loves the tailor, Mothel. And the dad is like, I had a dream that she was going to marry, Grandma came and she was like, you got to marry the tailor. You can't marry Lisa Wolf. And whatever. I've seen Fiddler on the Roof with Harvey Feinstein. He was pretty good.
Never seen it.
Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah.
It's about, I guess, Ukraine. And I guess in the 1880s, they expelled all the Jews from Ukraine. Common theme.
Okay. Common theme.
And the Jews had to, flee Ukraine, Ukraine, Russia, whatever you call it. I mean, it's Ukraine. Kiev is settled by Vikings, actually, first, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Kiev is settled maybe even before Vikings. I think the actual, location has shit on it since, 460. But I think they call it Kiev in the 800s.
Okay.
And there's an eastern unit of Vikings called the Varangian Guards. And they're probably from that area, Slavic Vikings. Just a history, little manimal.
Manimal moments.
You just had a little manimal
Little
moment there.
animal moment.
So Ukraine has always been hotly contested territory, is what I'm trying to say here. So the Vikings had routes through there. I
Crazy.
guess there's a good river system there.
Yeah, there's got to be something.
So
Something of
good,
value that
good
they-
land.
Yeah. Location, maybe.
Better than being in Russia, because like Julius Caesar says, no reason to go. He has two choices, Julius Caesar, to either go fight in Parthia or go to Sarmatia, which would be like Russian steppe land. He's like, there's nothing there worth taking, which is essentially how I feel about Russia. Like, really nothing there worth going there for. Stay home for that. Like, if you want to go to Russia, just stay home. We're going to go take. They're cold. It's chill.
Yeah.
You can chill here.
That's what I was. I don't really want to go to a cold place.
Now they do have oil, though. So there is oil reserves in
That's
Russia.
it. I'm gonna go there and rob them of their oil.
All right,
Come in,
Jeremy.
Putin.
What's your favorite conspiracy theory of the moment?
Conspiracy theory? I don't know.
Kerry's thinkers.
Ooh. I have so many going on.
I don't know
right
what
now.
my favorite one is.
All right, give one. Give one that's
Oh,
on your
no.
mind.
I don't know. What's on my mind?
Why, you think we're going to get cut off?
No.
I'll give you mine.
What's
Mine
that?
is that Elon Musk is actually Steve Jobs.
Oh, I've never heard that.
I've never heard that either.
I
Well,
think
you
he's
heard
an
it now,
alien.
guys. So I think that Steve Jobs faked his death.
And I kind
there
of
was
put
things
Steve
he
Jobs
wanted
as
to
an
do.
alien, so there's that.
And he's wearing the Elon Musk suit now.
Okay,
That's
that
why
makes
Elon Musk has like a weird body.
That makes sense.
Because it's really skinny ass Steve Jobs in there controlling it. I'm Elon Musk. I'm South African. Find a picture of the
Yeah.
two of us together.
Yeah.
And that's just Steve Jobs doing that accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He loves it. He was practicing that shit for days.
He loves it.
He was practicing that shit for years in his mirror. I'm Elon Musk. I named my kid
I mean,
Technicus
it even sounds
Mechanicus.
like a fake name.
And the other one is just a
Elon
bunch
Musk.
of crap.
And he gave all his kids fake names. Technicus Mechanicus. I found this
Like
kid in a
what?
roadside diner. Fucking hell.
Like, who thinks their kid that?
He's just trolling everyone. He was like, I'm going
Really?
to fake my own death
Really?
and come back as some dude.
Weirdo. No, Elon's cool, but weird.
Nah, Elon's cool, but weird. Yeah, I love Steve Jobs. Don't get me wrong. I think he's doing great. He did great stuff with Apple. He's doing great stuff with Tesla.
He's doing great out there as
watch,
Elon Musk trolling the world.
Did you watch Mr. McMahon, the documentary on Netflix?
No, but I want to fill us in.
Apparently, he's just like a sexaholic.
Yeah,
and
he was like shitting on girls' chests.
Yeah,
Good for him. Good for him.
He's all right.
No,
He's got all kinds of allegations against him.
The problem's not that you want to
there's a
shit
lot.
on girls' chests. It's that you force them to let you
Yes.
shit on their chest.
Yes.
Because you can find a girl that wants to let you shit on her chest, but it's probably not
I'm
going to
sure.
be. She's probably not going to look like you want though. The girl that lets you shit on her chest is not going to be a 10.
No,
She's
she's
going to be a
shoe.
flexible 3.
She's going to be a shoe in the corner.
Yeah, she'll let you shit on her. Yeah, but that diva,
Flexible 3.
flexible 3. Some days she's a 2, some days she's a 4. You know, it's
Two
tough.
and a half.
2.5. You know, one day she looked real beat up. She was on a fucking crack bender.
Shit, that's what she dropped down.
But when you
It's like
want
you're in the negatives, bitch.
when you want to shit on a 10's chest, then you have to
That's
like,
gonna cost you.
yeah, you have to
Yeah.
persuade them, coerce them. You have to do all kinds of shit. Maybe kill them if they don't do what you want, like happened to your friend Ashley. Right? Sorry, you
You
don't
don't
want to
get taken off.
We don't want to get killed.
Yeah, we don't want people
Miss-
at our door. No, and they're gonna.
Mr. McMahon.
Stay away from us.
Last
Hope-
time we started talking about the belts.
Oh, the belt system. Let's finish that thought.
And you're starting to talk about like the subjectivity of the belt system.
So here can be the problem with the subjectivity of the belt system. Unless you have, let's think about how, so I said the soft arts like yoga. You're doing good, Bobby. You look great. Oh, you're so much more flexible than you are the other day. How do you know? I don't know. It looks like it. Right? So yoga has no quantification. It's just to feel good. Right. And then you have things that are highly quantified, like, even though I hate it, baseball. This guy hit the ball this fast. This guy threw the ball this fast. This guy has an earned run average of this. This guy has a batting average of this. 32.5% of the time when he's playing at this field. Statified. You can't get more statified, right? How do you know? How do you know this guy's the fastest pitcher? Well, we measured the pitch.
Right.
We had 7 cameras, 7 speed. We know the pitch speed, right? Okay, so that's the highly quantified end. And jiu-jitsu falls somewhere in the middle. How do I know you're a blue belt? When I know you're a blue belt, right? Based on some factors. Now, the only way to do it that you actually know is you have to give them a curriculum. And then based off that curriculum, you can measure what you know. So let's say I wanted to have a curriculum for jiu-jitsu. And I was like, all right, a blue belt needs to know, need an elbow escape, a guillotine choke, whatever it is. I make a bunch of standards. This is what you need to know how to perform and execute to get this rank. And that would be a real strict or relatively stricter standard. It's not based on me. It's based on, can you do these movements that I have
Makes
taught
sense.
you? And that would be then a rank. So then whenever a person was like, I think I should be a blue belt, you'd be like, okay, well, let's take the test.
Yeah, can you do?
Show me this, show me that. And once they say, what's that? Boom.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
So I used to do ranking in CrossFit, and my CrossFit coaches hated it because they couldn't see. I was thinking 10 steps ahead of the game. I was like, all right, I don't want to have a beginner program because the nature of doing business in New York makes you need customers. And a beginner program, when I had run it, was costing me a lot of money because it was putting people not in classes. You would have less people. You would put more attention into them. And it just wasn't working. The person that could just drop in for a week, see if they liked it, was better. So I was like, oh, what we're going to do, if you come in and you're on your trial week, I gave you a yellow band. That alerted everyone. This guy is new. And I had a separate workout for beginners. So it was like I had a beginner, advanced, intermediate. And yellow band meant first week. So that showed not just my coaches, but everyone on the floor. This guy's new. Be friendly to him. Okay. And then white belt. Once you signed up, you got your white belt. Now, if you wanted to get a blue band, I had those little like rubber bands. You wanted a blue band, you had a test.
You're already in jiu-jitsu at this point?
I was already a black belt for years.
Oh, wow.
I was already a black belt. I already fought. This was in my 10-year layoff. So done other things. I hurt my shoulder, and then I coached more, and then CrossFit actually helped me rehab my shoulder, which I guess sounds crazy, but it did. And then I was like, oh, I like doing the fitness. It's a lot easier. than having to teach jiu-jitsu privates. Like the other day, I'm rolling with CG. Fucking, I had a cauliflower, then the cauliflower ripped. Jiu-jitsu is a little tougher. Me telling you how to clean and jerk way easier. So I was enjoying that. And where was I going with this?
They become blue belts.
Blue belts. And the blue belt test, you had a test. It was 24 movements, and all you had to do was show proficiency. So I gave you an empty bar. Guy had an empty 45. Girl had an empty 35. And show me 3 of each move. And it would be like, all right, show me 3 deadlifts. All right, show me 3 clean and press. All right, show me 3 of everything. All right, show me 3 thrusters. What's a thruster? Fail. All right. Next month you can test again if you want. And that was it. So if you did that for jiu-jitsu, you'd have a pretty good standard. You'd be like, how do I know I'm a blue belt? Well, hey, Kerry, why didn't you get your blue belt? Oh, you know what? I had trouble completing this particular movement. I'm going to go work on that now.
Yeah.
And then it gives you something instead of feeling like,
To work on.
now listen, here's the curriculum. But that's not really done. And it's hard to do. I'm not saying you should do. I'm saying if you wanted to rank it not based on personal proclivities, you'd have to do it that way. Since we don't do it that way, then it becomes more of a matter of how do you do against other belt ranking close to you, which is also a gray area, right? How do I know how good this guy is compared to this guy? How do you do? You can't really do it based on competition because some guys compete very well, some guys don't. Some guys don't ever compete. The guy who has 3 kids that never, like Joe Bernetti, one of the best guys I know, never competes. He's like, bro, why would I go to a competition and waste my whole day? I could go train and have 100 matches. I'm like, oh, right. So that's the guy. I just like to train. I don't really compete. So you can't do it off competition or else no one's going to get ranked who doesn't like to compete. So you can't do it based off that. So then it has to be based off, is this guy learning the movements? Purple belt is, even though it's still a belt that's could be amorphous, there is a guideline for purple belt, actually. And the guideline for purple belt is a simple one, that he has a style that is developing into his own. And that starts to begin the process. And that's why most people drop out at blue belt. Because to get a blue belt, all you have to know is some techniques. To get a purple belt, you have to learn how to put them together for yourself. So that entails some creativity. I need to think about how am I going to chain these seemingly disparate moves into a gestalt, right, character here of a game, right? And when I think about it, if I watch my black belt friends roll, if you just had them in silhouette and I couldn't tell you who it was, I'd know who it was by the way they roll. Right? I could tell. I'd see the way a guy's doing stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's this guy. So at a certain level, you have a distinctive style, and that's why you're a martial artist too. You're not just a martial craftsman; you're an artist. Like this is an art form because what am I bringing? How am I creating something that's different from someone else? So then at purple belt, it's easier. Blue belt's the hardest belt. That's why it's the hardest belt to rank. And I think that happens a lot. And they're all subjective belts, unless you had a curriculum. And sometimes I think about doing like, I would just do a blue belt curriculum, because I think it's most people are white belts. I'm going to say, if you start doing the numbers, how many guys have a black belt in jiu-jitsu? It's, let's call it 1%.
Yeah.
How many people have a brown, a purple? What is the most people have a white belt?
Yeah.
Most people are white belts. I know guys that have been white belts for years because they start, they stop. I'm talking about the average practitioner. Is a white belt or a blue belt. And you should know what you should know it as a blue belt. So to me, that's like the most important formative belt. And the person should know how to get it and also know what they should be working on when they have it.
So you think there's less, like in other martial arts, is there that they do have more of a curriculum-based system?
Sure, like karate is easier to do that, but then it could also then become just a belt system. It can become a belt factory. Right. Any system, even the best system, can cannibalize itself. And now I can talk about the government. To me, the best form of government, and this is proven to be true in several empires, is a republic. A republic is what our country is supposed to be. A republic is a form of democracy. It's not a democracy because we were warned about democracy. That becomes what we call mob rule. So if 4 guys say yes and 3 dudes say no, well, I bully the 3 dudes, and that's democracy. 4 guys wanted it. Fuck you 3 guys. Do what we tell you now. So democracy, and Socrates said this too, doesn't really work. Becomes bullies and mob rule. So they were like a republic. A republic is where you distill this down into small governing bodies. Think of Long Island, right? Nassau County has a million little localities that all have their own laws and governing, and then they have another central body, and those all report into, central New York, into Albany,
Yes.
and that governs the state. So there's a distribution of power so that people in one area don't have to be subject to the laws of people in another area that don't understand their condition. Let's say someone living on a farm in PA who has bears on his property, that guy needs to be able to be strapped at all times. Okay. Someone who lives in Brooklyn, well, he might not want everyone strapped at all times, even though they are. And he just don't know it. So they'll make all these laws, and the city has the right to make all these laws. And municipalities have a small form of government. The city, one of the smallest forms of government, can govern itself. You could form your own city. Let's say we got together with 100 people and we bought a piece of land upstairs. We could incorporate into our own city. And then we could have our own rules in that city. We could tax our subjects.
I like that.
You could tax people or not tax
Our
them. You could have
subjects.
tariffs on imported goods. And that's how a republic functions in a bigger picture. And then you have a federal government, which essentially runs alongside these Republican state governments in order to distribute the power so that no one person just bullies you into doing something. That's what it's supposed to be. That's not what it is,
No.
right? Then it became an oligarchy and a fascist oligarchy. Everyone in the government's fascist. Because as my uncle Mussolini said, when the government and private business engage in a very special friendship, we call that fascism. So that's according to the inventor of fascism. That's what it is. So if you take $1 trillion of taxpayer money and you give that to Pfizer, a private company, and get no profit return from it, you just gave that to them as a favor. That's
Yeah.
called fascism, by literal definition. You can't give a private company money from the government with no expectation back on this in revenue. You didn't partner with that company. You didn't become half partner in Pfizer, even though it looks like it. You just gave them taxpayer money. You just gave taxpayer money to military contractors in Ukraine. That's fascism, right? You have a private relationship that's very special with only very few companies. And if certain companies try to do business, you can make it very difficult for them. Before you just straight kill them, you can do stuff like pass a law that makes it hard for you to make your product. So let's say I make a product with a certain type of liquid rubber, and they see me making this product, and they're like, oh, you know what? Fuck that guy. He's been saying some shit we don't like. That liquid rubber now is illegal to import. Well, now you just fucked my business up, right? You just made a law that then created a layer of complexity that made it difficult for me to do business. And then you'll let someone else do it. Right, so then if you take that same logic and you're like, you can't do that anymore, but they
You
can. And then those people pay each other off. Well, that's fascism. That's like the problem with Eric Adams. They give a government contract to a private company, and then that private company hires your brother for a $200,000 a year job that he's not qualified for. How the fuck did that happen? And all this is using government money.
Yeah.
So I took money from taxpayers. Let's say I was the mayor, and let's say you had an education company, and Kerry's my relative or whatever, my girlfriend, whatever it is. Because Eric Adams gave his girlfriend a $200,000 a year job,
Yes.
right? And she don't show up. So imagine I'm like, hey, Kerry, you're going to go work for Jeremy. Don't worry, you don't have to show up. He's just going to cut you a check.
You don't got to do anything.
But they do it, and we let them get away with it. So yeah, in a republic, we try to not do that. Oh, where I was going with this is even the best system gets fucked up. And the problem with the republic, so two great republics in history, the Roman Republic and the American Republic. The Roman Republic gets fucked up the same way the American Republic gets fucked up. When you have a republic, it gives freedom. And if you take the brakes off, the car goes fast. So when you give people freedom, they do stuff. So like imagine if you had the freedom to do whatever and it wasn't that expensive to do it, whatever it is you wanted to do, you would start doing. And by the necessity of that, the nature of that would make you more creative and make you keep pushing the boundaries. And what that does is makes a country that's very innovative, which America was up until we became an empire. Empires then have to maintain an empire. After World War II, we find ourselves with a massive empire. We get all these territories that aren't contiguous with us, and really it happens in World War I too, but we start to become an empire. And once you become an empire, now you have to control an empire, and you stop being a republic. And that's what happened now. And then you have oligarchs, you know, a couple of wealthy, rich people that then control the whole society. And this is what happened in ancient Rome. They were a republic, and then they won the wars with Carthage and found themselves now in possession of overseas territory. When you conquer territory contiguous to you, you're just like, well, this is part of our country. What did America say? Manifest destiny. We should have everything from New York to California. That's all contiguous. They were like, that should be America. Once you take something outside that, it's hard to be a republic because now you're governing people that aren't your citizens. And that's not really a Republican value. A Republican value would be now they have to be incorporated as citizens in some way, and we have a very bad process for that. And immigration's also what fucked up ancient Rome. No good process for citizenship. How do I become a citizen? And what does it even mean to be a citizen? So yes, the Republican form of government cannibalizes itself because it becomes so good that your country becomes really badass. And once they take over another country, they kill their own great system. And that's what happened in America. Once you cross that threshold, that's it. You stop being the thing you want. And we're already at that point because you can't be involved in foreign wars. You can't have proxy wars if you're a republic. It doesn't make any sense. You're supposed to be small government, you know, individually spread out. You know, we only fight wars when it's like necessary.
Yeah.
Even Rome would say, up until they took over overseas territories, they're like, you know, we only fought when we had to because, you know, these guys were on our border. You know, these guys, Native Americans, America at the time, what they say, Native Americans, well, listen, this is our land. We know you were here, but it's ours
But
now.
they're taking it.
And that's the nature of, I mean, how can you say who took the land first?
It's true.
How do you know that 50,000 years ago,
There wasn't someone else there.
Native Americans
Yeah.
didn't come here and find
And
some
fuck some other
Neanderthal
people up.
Yeah, find some Cro-Magnon dudes, and they fuck those dudes
Yeah.
up. And then it's like Cro-Magnon rights. But you don't know.
No.
No history records this. Does that explain the Republic? Did that help?
It sure does.
It sure does.
You've been through another Manimal moment.
Yeah, I mean, because you know what drives me crazy when they're like, our democracy's at risk. I was
It's
like,
like, okay.
it's like, well, first, our country's supposed to be a republic, and
not
that's
a
why we don't
democracy,
say
To the democracy for which it stands.
what the
Okay.
Pledge of Allegiance say. They took
To
it
the
out.
republic for which
To
it
the
stands.
republic,
Yes.
right? Because we have a Republican form of government.
Yes.
Yeah.
One nation under God.
They took that out, too.
And justice for everyone. For all.
They took all that shit out. Oh, it was
I
this
always
thing?
hated standing up for the pledge.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I did it. I think I refused to do it like senior year. For sure.
Very anti-American.
Yeah. It's not. It's just anti-pledge.
Anti-pledge. You want to... Oh, you know what group you could join?
I don't like anything where I have to stand up and like recite something.
Do you
With a
stand up
group.
when we do the national anthem?
Sometimes, but I won't like put my hand over my heart and that stuff.
I just put my...
Take my hat off, whatever. None of that. Yeah.
Well, really, the hand over your heart, isn't that really supposed to be for the pledge? Not necessarily
that's
for,
what
the
national anthem. I
Yes.
either hands down or hands behind.
Because I was always like,
No, the
I
pledge.
thought that it was just the pledge you're supposed to do
The
that
pledge
for the
is hand
national
on the
anthem.
heart.
You do what you want.
Yeah, but
National anthem, you do what you fucking want.
No, what do the servicemen? Do they salute the whole time?
I'm sure they do.
There's
Yeah,
something that they
do their
see
own
the
thing, but
servicemen
we
do
don't
a
need to
different
that.
thing.
But we
I
don't
put
need
my
to.
hands up. I clasp my hands.
You're
feels
supposed to
like
take
the
your hat
Whitney
off if
version.
you're wearing one. That's like
feels
the
very
important thing.
culty.
Yes.
Well, everything is. It's all
So a
rituals.
country is a cult.
Yeah.
It's a, country. It's
Well,
a
look at how
cult
people are
that
about
you
it. They
want
wear
to
their
agree on
flags all
certain
over
things.
them.
There's no reason to have a border unless you have ideas that are different from someone else. Why do I need a border unless I have an idea that's different from you? So the American idea is about Republican form of government. So they need a border so that someone that has a different form of government
Doesn't come knocking down their door.
and want to do
Like we're
things
changing everything.
exactly.
You're
So that's why
now
you would have a
doing
border.
this.
So without that, you don't need borders if you don't have any disagreements, and that's not the
No,
way
that
it
is a
is.
free for all.
Because look at animals. So I think about it, what do the animals do? And that's what nature...
Territories.
Most animals have territories. They
Yeah.
don't just let other animals roll up into their
No.
territory. I mean, it just seems like that's what nature does.
Yeah, makes sense.
You know, unless they're bizarre animal friends.
Yeah,
Which I love.
There's unlikely animal friendships are my favorite. I'm like, I fucking love that shit.
When the tiger's friends with like the deer and
Yes,
shit.
it's like, how does that even happen? It's so cute.
He's like,
It's
this one.
Yeah.
Oh my! I used to have a Shiba Inu, and this Shiba Inu was a little killer. She was a hunting dog, and she'd kill everything: squirrels, rabbits, a turkey, whatever. She was a savage. Fish. She'd go fishing. She was great, great little hunting dog. And I used to have a house in Bayside, and I had a little yard in the back. And in that yard, one day I see her with this squirrel, and I was like, "Oh shit, she's gonna kill this fucking thing." The next thing I know, they're playing. And then I look at the squirrel, and she lets the squirrel hide the nuts in her patch. I'm like, okay. And if other squirrels come, she kills them.
Yeah.
And this squirrel had a white paw and a little white chest, so I recognized him now. And I was like, this one, what made her like, you're my home,
You're cool.
you're cool. All these other squirrels, death.
Maybe because it's a white paw.
I don't know, but she was like, this is my homie.
That's great.
And I was like, that's funny. So the bizarre animal friends, I was like, this is so funny.
That's
And
funny.
yeah, she was like, no, you're cool. You can bury your nuts here. She
We're
was
good.
like, this other dude, I'm gonna rip his
Not
face
so
off.
cool.
Not so cool. Oh man, she killed a fucking rabbit
She's like,
once.
tell your friends
So
to stay the
gross.
fuck away.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever seen a little dog kill an animal, but they rip the stomach open first, and it is. They don't try to like kill it.
No, they're playing with
Once
it, right?
they rip the organs open first,
Oh.
so they go for the highest nutrients. I guess the liver. So once she subdues it,
Doesn't a bear do that too? Like if you get attacked, you'd still be alive while you're being eaten.
yeah, they want
Wow.
to eat you first. They start trying to eat your intestines,
That's
your
crazy.
liver, all the stuff. So your
That's
liver is calorically
crazy.
dense.
Wow.
So they want to like eat your insides.
Wow, it's a way you don't want to go.
No.
Getting eaten
No.
alive? Fuck that.
Yeah, they don't try to kill you
Kill
because
me
it might
fucking
take time.
first, yeah.
Yeah, they're like, it's going to take time to kill you. I'll just subdue you and start eating you.
Wow, that's terrible.
Savage.
Like crying, being like, and at some point your body probably just lets go anyway.
Well,
Like, you're alive,
in
but you're
shock,
not,
But,
yeah.
I
You're
mean,
in shock.
what does that mean?
Yeah.
You don't feel it as much.
I understand what that means, but like
It
I think
gotta
your
be
brain just like,
horrifying.
Yeah,
your
well-
body just something turns off.
your brain is still
Yeah.
functioning and you're
Looking
like,
at this dude eating your intestines.
guts just being pulled out of you,
Yeah. Wow.
and you're pinned down by a freaking bear. Imagine the top pressure of a bear.
Right, like think about guys you roll with,
Yeah,
and imagine like
that are maybe a quarter the size and weight of a
quarter
bear.
of the size, a massive, right,
Yeah.
300-pound dude who's strong.
Yeah.
Is in your guard. And
Yeah.
you're like, fuck, I can't do nothing. And now you got a bear. Scary fucks. Dude. Oh, you got to watch Vikings. What are we in?
That's why I thought you were saying,
How
oh,
long
you
are
looked
we
at the
in?
time.
47 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, we do this to an hour.
Yeah, I thought you were looking at the, like, wow.
There's an episode of Vikings where Bjorn, Ragnar's son,
Yeah.
he goes into the woods and he winds up fighting like a grizzly bear. It's so savage.
That's awesome.
And while he's fighting this grizzly, another dude's out there trying to kill him. And it becomes a savage encounter. I'm like, that's how it happens sometimes. You're going to fight a grizzly, next thing you know,
You're
another
fighting the
dude's out-
person.
Another dude's
Like,
out
give me
there.
the grizzly, fuck this dude.
Can you really fight a grizzly?
I mean,
You ever see the
could
guy with
try.
the grizzly suit?
No.
Oh, you got to see this. Oh, you got to look it up. Grizzly fight suit. So this guy builds a suit. And this is in like the 90s. He spends like 100 G. And he builds a suit that's essentially indestructible. He tests it too. So you got to see the tests. He fucking has cars just 60
over
miles
it.
an hour and smash them. Boom. And he flies into a brick wall.
And he's fine.
just like, it's like this big mech
Wow.
suit. And he's in it. And he was like, I'm going to fight a bear in this. The only problem is, anytime a bear saw that shit, they ran away. They were like, the fuck is this guy? They were like, I'm not fighting that shit. Like, what the fuck is this? He's like, I want to fight a bear. And bears were just like, nah,
Nope.
dude. They were like, you
go
look
in the ocean trying to
freaky.
fight a shark, see what happens.
She was like, you look freaky, bro. He would take 12 gauge shotgun blast, boom, right to the chest with his suit on. Look, see if you
Wow.
can find it.
What,
Bear,
grizzly suit?
I would do grizzly fight suit and see. And this dude was going ham, but no bear would attack him. Like, he just looks so preposterous. He's in a huge robot. He's like, and that's how good the economy was in the
Clinton-
90s.
Clinton era?
Oh, Clinton was okay. You know what I think people have a bad time doing? What people are bad at doing now? Separating like policies from like the person. Like I hate Bill Clinton. That dude's a pedophile, right? But let me tell you, what a good president, Slick Willie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's the first guy in years to reduce the deficit, and that's why I agree with Trump on that. Actually, he was close to doing it, and they're like, "Nah, COVID, do
Yeah, you're doing too good.
COVID, you're doing too good, COVID, yeah."
COVID.
Because without COVID, what are you going to say? The policies?
Is this it?
Oh yeah, that's it. The robot. This shit is-
So he doesn't look like a bear, so maybe that's why they were all
Oh
concerned.
no! See, the bear will not even go near.
Well, yeah, look at him. He looks like a fucking transformer. At
looks
least
like
that's
a
what he looks like in the screenshot.
This guy's trying to. What is he doing?
I don't know.
Can we fast forward?
Oh
a
yeah,
little bit?
I'm confused.
Yeah, I'm confused. Does he show? Oh, there we
Okay.
go. Yes, he has. He looks like a straight ass Optimus Prime.
Yeah, he
Look
don't
at
look like
this.
a bear. I'd run away too. I'd be like, get this alien motherfucker away from me.
Yeah, he looks
The
like
bear's like, I'm gonna be anal probed. I'm out.
bro. Look at how much protection is around his dick. He has so much
I mean-
protection on the cup. Yeah, he's like.
You don't want that to be eaten.
So, Jerm, yeah,
Look
like,
at it. You don't look like a bear. He looks like a fucking space person. Like you can't.
yeah, if you seen that dude in the woods, you would think aliens
A shark
landed.
might run away from that.
And everything's running away from
Yeah.
him. He looks preposterous.
Yeah, so he doesn't even need to fight. He's
Oh,
like,
this gets good. Wait, are they gonna start hitting him with the fucking shotgun?
he's like, hit me with
Oh
what
yes,
you want.
yes.
Oh
Here we go.
wow. He's like, nothing will fight me. That's the
nothing.
difference.
They shot him point blank range with a fucking shotgun. He didn't even move. Look at
Oh
this.
wow, a tree.
Wait, they're gonna hit him
A
with a
tree
car.
trunk.
Wait, you gotta see, they're gonna hit him with a car next.
That's wild.
Next, yes. Boom.
Wow.
Took it. Look at this.
That's great.
Yo,
With a
this
pickup
shit
truck.
gets-
So how do you not get concussed?
I don't know. Maybe the helmet.
Yeah, there's got to be some kind of padding in there. Wow. Yeah, not to
So
get
he
whiplash
tested
and
the
shit.
shit out of this suit, and no bear would let him use it.
No, he looks like, like It the Clown meets a fucking space person.
Look at the bear. The bear is like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
He's like, get away from me, you
Oh my
weird looking
God.
motherfucker.
Yo, the bear is literally watching him test this. Like, this guy got a death wish. I'm not doing it. Like, nah, chill.
Nah, he's too crazy.
What kind of bear was that? Was that a
Grizzly, yeah.
Grizzly.
But the grizzly won't even go near that dude.
No,
the grizzly's
I don't
like,
blame
"You're a
him.
freak."
I don't blame him.
The grizzly probably thinks he's an alien.
Yeah, he looks like an alien. Look at that. It just looks like a fucking Optimus Prime weird.
So, guys, go look
motherfucker.
up bear
Grizzly suit guy. Literally,
grizzly
is what
suit
it
guy.
says.
Yeah. Yo, how crazy is it? Took the shot with the. I really want one of those suits. He took the shot point blank.
Oh
With
yeah,
the shotgun. Yeah.
to the chest.
To the
like
chest.
it was nothing.
Nothing. He had the
He
pickup
took
truck
a
run
tree trunk
into
to the
him.
chest like it was nothing. Like wow.
The pickup truck launched him 30 feet, and he just got up. He was like, "Well, I'm good."
The military should. Is he still alive? Did they out
I
off him
don't
because
know.
he made some crazy shit? Like, you know what I mean? They should
No.
contract him and be like, "Yo, how'd you do it?"
I think he's a Tom Green.
Because like maybe.
So-
Oh.
Just
Yeah.
so weird. They thought they could turn him, and then they were like, "Just leave that guy in the woods."
Yeah.
So Tom Green, remember
He's like Optimus Prime is out there trying to fight bears. We're good.
yeah,
We're good. Let him go. Let him go.
Let him go fight bears, bro. Just
Maybe he'll find us Bigfoot. Maybe Bigfoot would fuck with him because he's an interdimensional being.
Bigfoot's gonna ask.
like, "Listen, I got
Bigfoot's gonna be like, "Listen, I'll fight you, but you got to give me a suit too." Bigfoot is.
He's like, I
half
need the
human.
protecting suit.
Bigfoot's
Damn
like,
it.
"Yeah, you got to give me a suit too. Let's do it, Mech Warrior style." And he'll be like, "No, it's Bigfoot in the suit, but Bigfoot will never take the suit off." So he'll be like, "No, it's Bigfoot," and they'll be like, "We'll take the suit off." And be like, he won't take the suit off. Every time you go to take the suit off, he cracks you.
So what happened with Tom Green?
What? Oh,
Oh, Tom Green.
yeah,
He
they couldn't
married
turn
Drew
him.
Barrymore. So what happened
Because
with
they
Tom?
tried hard, I think.
But here's what they
that's when she
thought.
was normal too.
Never. I looked up
thought
her
she was-
history.
oh,
Go look
well,
up her
I mean,
backstory.
she's never been. I mean, I get that.
The
Because
girl
like she's been
went to rehab
She was
at
passed
9.
around. Yeah, she was passed around forever. Oh no, she was at parties getting fucked up at 4 years old. Like
Yeah.
that girl has a terrible, terrible like.
Her mom used her because she was
Yes.
on ET when she
Yes.
was like 6.
Yes.
So then she became a star, and her
Yes.
mom was her manager, and her mom used her to get
get
into
to
like
Hollywood
Studio
parties,
54.
yeah.
All these
Would
sex
bring her into
parties.
them.
And would just bring her. Yeah, be like, "Oh, I'm here with Drew Barrymore." And they're like, "All right, great. We like this." You know how
But I think
Hollywood rolls.
her grandfather was a director or
Her
something.
grandfather was the best.
John Barrymore?
John Barrymore is the best Hamlet ever, right? He is the darling of Hollywood. So John
she was
Hamlet
kind of
was
set
Big
up
Willie.
in that way to be.
John Hamlet's Big Willie. Even his son is decent.
Yeah.
John Drew Barrymore, and then Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
But so Tom Green, they thought when they saw Tom Green, they were like, "Look at this weirdo. We're gonna turn him to the dark side so easy." Right? Like he's
happen.
already there. He's eating fucking mountain testicles. This guy is already there.
He's fine.
And they're like, "We'll hook you up with Drew Barrymore and her hairy bush." And then I have a '95 Playboy, so I'm just saying from the first thing I think about when I think of Drew Barrymore having
so
sex is her
funny.
massively hairy bush, which is fine.
Yeah.
I like it. It's not a big deal. You know, I'm just.
I mean, the '90s is still like full shave wasn't.
It wa-
It wasn't. It was like just starting to come around.
Yeah, but she was
Yeah, I
over
think
the
that was
top
like
even for that.
99.
Yeah.
She was over. It was over the top even then, and so they give you a hot succubus like a Drew Barrymore, and especially at that time, '95 or '99, and they wanted to turn Tom Green, and then they were like, he had ball cancer, and he wrote
Yes,
that book. Remember the book he
testicular
wrote?
cancer, yes.
The book he wrote was Hollywood Gave Me Cancer. That's the book he wrote.
Oh, we got to get that book.
Hollywood Gave Me Cancer, and it's more about talking about like the toxicity.
Yeah, yeah.
But he relates that to that happening. And then what happened was they wanted to then, what do they love too? Public humiliation.
Yes, yes,
So they wanted to publicly humiliate him about the bull stuff.
yes.
And he got into a fight with the dude and left out and was like, I'm not into it. He was like, nah. They canceled the Tom
yes,
Green show.
Yes, I remember.
So
when
I
that
think they were
happened.
trying to turn him to the dark side.
They had him do
and
some,
he was like,
crazy
I'm not
shit.
into it.
I forget what he did.
Freddie got fingered. That shit was
yeah,
funny.
I think it
It's
was.
funny.
I think it was after that. Wasn't it really
Daddy,
after
would you
that?
like some sausages?
That was the sickest shit I ever saw in my life.
Yeah.
I
but
mean,
they-
I get it. It's funny, but it's like really not.
that shit was so
Fucking sick.
but not quite the sickness of these other perverts. He
No,
wasn't
yeah,
raping
yeah.
little kids. They were
No.
like, all right, you're ready, rape the kid. He's like,
no,
nah, dude.
I'm not into that shit.
He's like, I'm just gonna eat a sausage.
Yeah. He's like, I might pretend to eat an umbilical cord, but I'm not gonna. Right. I will never forget that. I'm like, this is the most disturbing, weird movie ever. Daddy, would you like some sausage?
Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy has all the sausages.
Yeah.
That's so
Think, 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 think. The sausages on parade
With
everywhere.
everything going on with Diddy, like, why did it take so long for all this stuff to come out?
Okay, you ready?
I am.
Okay, because it's not just Diddy. There's so many other people involved, and it goes so further back than Diddy that people are paid. People like, and I'm just going to say it out loud, people like Kamala Harris, who was the Attorney General of California. These people are paid off not to say anything, and there is rumors that she's going to have to speak on her own why
She
she
was
was
with
at
Montel
white parties
Williams.
and why she was at the
So who
white
knows?
parties and shit. No, they're saying she was absolutely at Diddy's party, the white ones in particular, and she's going to have to answer for why she was there. And I mean,
Well, they don't release the lists. Who's
No,
that?
they're
like,
they-
all these celebrities. Why? I think it's a blackmail scheme too.
of course it is.
So I think to get into Hollywood, they're like, fuck this kid or do whatever, or get fucked in the ass, whatever it is.
Yeah.
They video it.
Yeah, I think
And
there's
now they're
levels
like-
to it. You want to get in, you get fucked in the ass. You want to stay in, yeah, that's when you got to do the kick. And it's fucking gross.
Whatever it is, I don't know. I'm not privy to that world, but what it appears to be to me, what I imagine it is,
It's like being
is-
gang raped into something.
It's like that you have to buy in, usually with something incriminating, so that
And they
they know
videotape
you're one
it.
of them.
They videotape it. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
will you
Jeffrey
do this?
Epstein, remember, was videotaping everything. So
Will you
all
be
the-
at a party knowing there are kids and that they shouldn't be at this party and look away and not say anything? Like all the people that were like, well, we were there, but we left before. Okay, because you didn't realize that there were little kids all over the place.
And
It was
they drug
getting
you?
later and later and weirder, and you
Yeah, they
Like,
drug
okay.
you, they set you up. Right, they drug you, they put you in a
yeah,
situation
the
with a
baby
girl.
oil wasn't baby oil, it was drugs. It was like GHB or some
Because they
shit.
probably start off with like regular shit. They set you up with a girl who looks like she's old enough, but she's not.
You know what
And
they
you
do a
bang
lot,
that
I
girl,
heard?
and then they videotape it, and now we got you.
You know what
and
I
then
heard
you
they
just
do?
keep getting further and further.
To specifically to the guys, that they will have you hooking up with a girl, and all of a sudden when you realize like you open your eyes or something and it's really a dude, and they do that a lot to like, especially in the music industry.
I've heard
They'll
that.
have you like in a conspicuous situation with a chick, and when you open your eyes, there's a guy sucking your dick, and it's like, and some of the guys are like freak out
Did you see
and
that
run,
Biggie
and some
video?
guys are really fucking into. Oh, Biggie was gay as fuck. All the shit I'm watching. There's no way he wasn't. All these guys were gay as fuck. Listen to the lyrics of his songs. The lyrics in his songs are questionable as fuck, and they tell a story, all of them, about fucking kids in the ass. Like, who says that?
Well, I think he's talking about Diddy in that one verse he
And
has.
I think he's also talking about himself, to be honest with you. If you listen
He's
to
like,
a lot
you know,
of
I
his
got
songs, they're
stick-up
so
kids.
fucked up.
Yeah, fuck him in the ass, throw him over the bridge. That's how
Yeah,
it
and it's
is.
not like it's just a couple songs. It's all, a lot of his songs are really fucking suspect. A lot of these people, like, you could hear the lyrics in their songs, and it's like, whoa, I never heard that before, or I never realized it and put
You
two and
didn't
two
realize
together.
it. You're just listening to
Really
the beat.
what it is. You know, something makes you, you're in a good mood, you're happy listening to it, or it puts you in some kind of emotion, but you don't listen to what you're really listening to. You know, back in the day, I always loved the song Hunger Strike, but I didn't realize it was about human trafficking until I did. They're farming babies.
Wait, by Temple of the Dog?
Yeah.
It's about what?
Human trafficking. They're farming babies. The slaves are working. Blood is on the table.
There's a lot of songs that when you listen to them now, you're like, oh man, I never Californication.
What about corn?
Space might be the final frontier,
Yeah.
but it's filmed in a Hollywood basement.
What about corn?
What about
Replace that K with a P. Or
Corn.
just put a K and a P right after it. It's kiddie porn, from what I heard.
K-porn
Yeah.
is corn.
Yep.
It's kiddie porn
Yeah,
is
that's
corn.
what I was told. So, I mean, it makes a lot of sense. All these people are
Oh, 'cause why
they're all
not?
fine.
With the K
Linkin
too,
Park?
because C corn is just regular porn.
Yes.
Like when girls are online and
Yeah.
they want to be like, come to my porn site, they're like
Yeah.
my corn site.
Yeah.
My corn site. So the corn with a K is
It's a
kiddie
whole
porn.
different. Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
was.
fuck.
Yeah. Then you get what was the other one I was just thinking about? There's so many of them that like I just
Oh, you
never.
know who's a real
Linkin
player?
Linkin Park symbol. So if you look at like the FBI put out a list of like all the pedophile symbols and what they use as like code things. And I mean, I could go, well, it's not true if you didn't notice that like, okay, the Comet ping pong thing that everybody said that was in the, you know, there was no pedophilia, there was no child trafficking. Okay, well, why was the sign had a pedophilia logo, and the pizza place next door to it too had the weird triangle and a triangle and a triangle.
Guys,
and then
we'll
they
talk
have the
about
heart and the heart
Pizzagate
and the
next
heart
time.
and all this stuff. So Linkin Park's logo was a triangle and a triangle, but it was broken.
So you
And
think
if you-
they're anti?
Yes, and if you look at, well, Chester Bennington did The Silent Children, which was about human
right.
trafficking victims,
And he
and he
died,
did that
right?
with Chris Cornell. They both killed themselves, and Avicii. All three of them killed themselves, and they were all working on
Oh, you're
a
right.
project to stop
That's
human
right.
trafficking. Supposedly, so was Kate Spade. Supposedly, Anthony Bourdain.
Kate Spade, that's right. And I think when you hang yourself as suicide,
Yes, they especially
means
with
you were
this
in-
red scarf.
it means you were involved in the sex stuff, right?
Then they had Kate Spade's husband walked out of his house with a rat face mask. Weird.
Because the first
Weird.
one that hung
I'll show you those
himself,
pictures. Weird.
the first one that hung himself, David Carradine,
Yep.
in Thailand. He
Yep.
probably had a bunch of little lady boys around that left as
That
soon
I
as he
think
died.
that a lot of them that went to like all those different countries on missions or just political trips and stuff. I think they did and saw
Oh.
things that they shouldn't have.
That's who I'm going
or
to get
didn't-
on.
weren't really aware that they were going to see.
Kerry, we're going to put my barber on next
Yeah.
time. I'm going to interview him in the hood. He's Haitian, and he's all about like the Clinton crime family
Wait a
in
minute.
Haiti.
So,
oh, they have so many
Back
bodies.
to Temple of the Dog.
Okay.
So, do you think that's an child trafficking
Yes,
song?
I think that.
Because that's why Chris Cornell was said to have killed himself, because he was wrapped up in it from, like, he was abused.
Well, yes, and he was part of the documentary Silent Children. Him and Chester Bennington killed themselves like not far apart from each other. They were best
Mm-hmm.
friends. They actually did a remake of Temple of the Dog of Hunger Strike. It was really
And you know,
beautiful.
I don't think Anthony Bourdain killed himself.
No, and I don't think there's no reason why Pearl Jam isn't as big as they are for as long as they are with no blemishes, little to no blemishes. Come on. Come on.
So, guys, take a look at the music industry. All right, we did over an hour, I think, right? Yeah.
Big
Guys,
sense. Oh, but what
awesome.
I do want to
Oh.
say really quick,
Go ahead, Kerry.
beyond thinking that it's all involved, I'm thinking that like they're all involved to some extent, either of doing something or not doing something. And John and I have talked about it. My sister was the first one to bring it to my attention. Was the one-hit wonder thing. I was going to bring it up when you were talking about that, like either they give you, you take the deal or you don't.
Yes.
And the ones that don't, they're like, well, we're going to
One-hit
one-hit wonder
wonder.
you. You're never going to
True.
have a hit again. You're never going to have anything again. You're going to disappear into obscurity, and like or they kill you off. I mean, you're going to hear a lot about.
But a lot of times I think they just
Aaliyah.
offer you the deal. And you remember Kelly
You can hear a
Clarkson
lot
was
about-
saying, Clarkson was like, oh, they offered me millions
Yes,
of dollars
to
to this,
do
and I was
things.
uncomfortable. And Kevin Hart was like,
Yeah. Yep.
So the music industry, yeah. I mean, remember, Satan's a musician, right?
Yeah. Oh,
I guess you didn't know it.
Didn't Lucifer supposedly have pipes of gold?
I guess you didn't know it, that I'm a fiddle player too.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The devil went down to Georgia. They do make the devil a musician. So, definitely interesting. All right,
Lucifer
guys.
was supposedly
Awesome.
a great singer, so, you know.
Good with words. Awesome. Jeremy, where could they find you?
At Nerdy Germ.
On all platforms. He's there for all your video and, I guess, health and fitness needs.
Yes.
Kerry, where can they find you for all your conspiracy needs?
I'll carry the Stellar one wherever I'm allowed. Who knows? I have a feeling I'm going to be taken down off of something sooner or later.
We're all going to be taken down sooner or
it's
later.
So funny. Or not, you know.
Follow me at Manimal
Hopefully
John.
things go the other direction.
Hope so. Praise Odin. Guys, awesome
Praise
work
be to
today.
God.
Good job, guys. Oh, good. You didn't get cut off.
That was fun.
Nice job, guys.
I like doing